Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the Cities of Sigmar, Scourge of Ghyran faction update. What are we calling these? I'm not really sure. Scourge of Ghyran event, War Scroll. I don't know. But as I say, we're here for the Cities of Sigmar. Expedite your planning permission across the mortal realms. Not entirely sure that's how planning permission works, and my Dark Oath have something to say about that. For today's lore drop we have Adam, but if you want to check out the lore drop, it is linked in the description of this video. It's also YouTube Shorts. I think they're putting them up on Instagram as well, so you can find it on every social media presence that GW has. But we're here for the rules. So what have we got? If you like big guns, and who doesn't, then the new Veteran Cannoneers battle formation will be right up your barrel. You probably shouldn't be sticking random things up your barrel. That sounds like a bad idea. It enables you to reroll a hit, wound, or damage roll for up to 3 Ironweld Great Cannons. Oh, they're trying to make the cannons good. The second formation, Fearless Exemplars, is a combined arms approach to battle, which is useful if you plan to be shooting before charging. The heroic traits are collected under the title of Castellite Veterans. Draw Steel allows your units extra attacks, while Astute Tactician is perfect for getting your units where you need them quicker. The third trait, Cosmopolitan Leader, is particularly handy if you're commanding a mixed force of human, elves, and Duradin. Finally, they're doing something to mix. It's nice that they're actually giving people who want to run a mix of units. Hopefully we're going to get a refresh for the elves and the Duradin for the cities this edition. I don't know, but I think it's definitely needed after the successful refresh of the Cities of Sigmar range for the human stuff in third. And Cosmopolitan Leader, basically the first two get stuck in while the elves grab the objectives. Consider combining these hero traits with Officers' Orders for some truly unexpected combo. I like the sound of this. So I like the idea of a Cities of Sigmar army, especially as Dark Oath focused. I just love the human factions, and I think Cities lets you build into that Hero Hammer style as well. So this all sounds pretty interesting, pretty good, looking forward to it. The two war scrolls under scrutiny today are Pontifex Zenestra and the Freeguild Cavaliers. Interesting. Zenestra has always been a powerful figure of authority, but now she's even more so. First, she can wound and possibly kill outright any wizard or priest who dares to get too close. That sounds strong. Or banish a manifestation. The word of the God King can be pretty potent. On top of that, she can inspire your warriors to such a degree that they fight even as they're dying. Brave lads. Or she can simply spirit them away to somewhere safer. Not so brave, but alive. Alive is the best tactic you could hope for at the end of a battle. Meanwhile, Freeguild Cavaliers have also had a Gyranic G-up. The red work is every bit as violent as it sounds. Put simply, they just love hitting stuff. If they're already in combat, they now have the ability that lets them and a nearby Cavalier Marshal, including one on a Griffin, count as charging, making them doubly dangerous. So they can count as charged even if they're in combat. We'll touch on the battle profiles when we get to them in the document. Tomorrow, you'll need your wading boots on as we're hitting the swamps and going all out with how commands work in the new General's Handbook. So we get another preview of the handbook, that's cool. It's got to be, what they're called, Swamp Boys, Swamp Orcs. No, my mate plays them as well. It's the Swamp Orcs. We'll call them Swamp Orcs. Let me know what they're called in the comments below. For our faction rules for the Scourge of Ghyran, Cities of Sigmar. Battle formations. Veteran Cannoneers. Once per turn army, your shooting phase. Canny crews. Declare pick up to 3 friendly Ironweld Great Cannon units to be the targets. Effect for the rest of the turn, each time the target uses a shoot ability, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll or 1 random characteristic roll for the damage characteristic. So 1 reroll per cannon with 3 cannons. So if you miss, you'd reroll the hit. You don't wound, you'd reroll that. And if you hit and you wound, you've got your option to reroll the damage as well. Nice. I actually like that it's worded as or. It's not reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, 1 damage characteristic. You have to choose which. It makes what could be an incredibly oppressive and a downright, like, not needed roll to just be a little bit more reasonable, and actually you've got consequences and you've got to think about what you do. So I actually quite like that. Fearless Exemplars, on the other hand, once per turn army, your hero phase, frontline leader. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human infantry hero to use this ability. Then you can pick up to one friendly non-hero human infantry unit and up to one friendly human war machine unit that are wholly within 12 inches of that hero to be the targets. So one non-hero human infantry and one human war machine. Effect: while the targets are wholly within 12 inches of that hero, add 1 to the rend characteristic of the target infantry melee weapons and the target war machine's ranged attacks until the start of your next turn. I've often said in these that I do quite like extra rend. I think cities are probably quite low on rend, but I just think that's pretty weak. One option is 3 cannons can reroll 1 dice of whatever they need to reroll. The other option is, oh, have a bit of rend. Of the two, I think Veteran Cannoneers is better. I still don't know if it's good enough to take the Ironworld Great Cannons. That's very situational, but could be huge, whereas Fearless Exemplars just seems a bit naff to me. Heroic traits. First one, draw steel, any combat phase. Declare if this unit charged this turn, pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit that charged this turn and is wholly within 12 inches of the unit to be the target. Effect, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the turn. That's quite nice. Again, it's probably going on, mind you, it's a Cities of Sigmar human unit. Possibly on the horses? I think that's just generally quite nice, +1 attacks. I'm okay with that. Astute Tactician, your hero phase, declare pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, for the rest of the turn, add 1 to charge rolls for the target and add 2 to run rolls for the target. It's not the worst. And finally, Cosmopolitan Leader. So this is a hero phase ability. Declare pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar infantry or cavalry unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. If that unit is human, pick up to 3 eligible units to be the target instead. Okay, so there is still a precedence to take human units. Effect, roll the dice. On a 3 up until the start of your next turn, if the target is human, add 1 to the wound rolls of the target's combat attacks. If the target is Duardin, add 1 to the charge rolls for the target, and if the target is an elf, add 3 to the target's control score. Wait, no, hold on, how does this work then? So if you put it on a human, pick up to 3 eligible targets. So would you put it on a human unit and then you pick an elf unit and a Duradin unit as well? It's probably just me being stupid. It is Sunday and I've just had the football on, so this might just be my brain just crapping out on me. But my reading of this, if the unit is human, so pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar infantry or cavalry unit. If the unit is human, which it probably will be, pick up to 3 eligible targets to be the targets instead. So would you then you could put it on 1 unit, 1 Duardin or 1 elf unit, but you're probably going to put it on a human unit, and then still within that 12-inch radius, you would also pick 2 other human units, or you would just pick another 2 units regardless of the keyword. I don't fully understand that. Let me know, guys, in the comments what I'm missing here, because I don't think that's written very well. But like I say, I could just have post-football brain. Our war scrolls will start with Pontifex Zenestra. A 5-inch move with a 5-up save, but a 4-up ward. Nice. 9 health, 2 control. Melee weapons, the Scepter of the Wheel and Acolyte's weapons. 5 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 4s. No rend, D3 damage. Swingy. First ability, any hero phase, Word of the God King. Declare pick an enemy wizard, priest or manifestation within 18 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, roll a dice. On a 3-up, if the target is a manifestation, it is banished. Otherwise, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. That's nice, isn't it? And then a hero phase prayer, so this is your hero phase, Sigmar's Will. Goes off on a 4. Declare, make a chanting roll of d6. If the roll is an unmodified one, you can re-roll the dice. That's strong already. Effect, pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. Pick up to 2 effects instead if the chanting roll was 10+. So Hallowed Ground, enemy units using the normal move ability cannot end that move within 5 inches of a friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit that is wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Interesting. Fervent Prayers. Each time a friendly Cities of Sigmar human model that is wholly within 12 inches of this unit is slain by a combat attack, and that model was in combat with the attacking unit, roll a dice. On a 6, inflict 1 mortal damage to the attacking unit after the fight ability has been resolved. Not quite as easy to get off. It could be good, but you got to be rolling them 6s. And finally, Salvation. Pick up to 3 Cities of Sigmar human units to be the target. Remove those units from the battlefield and set them up again wholly within 12 inches of this unit and not in combat. Those units cannot use charge abilities for the rest of the turn. I like that. That's great for objective grabbing. Keywords: Hero, Priest 2, Inventory and Ward 4 up, and Order Cities of Sigmar. She's, even at 9 health, she's going to be quite survivable, isn't she? She can do 2 prayers. The damage isn't great, but on the whole, I think that's quite a nice data sheet. She is, however, 250 points. Regiment options, not one Freeguild veteran, any human. Okay, interesting. Let's take a look at what her rules are in the faction pack. Pontifex, Zenestra, this is the Cities of Sigmar faction pack, which is still available to download on the download section of the AOS stuff. I haven't been telling you guys where to find these if you want to check them out. They're all available. I'm pretty sure that they're all available. Even the older ones are available to download, to check out if you want to compare this stuff. But she's 5-inch move with a 5-up save, 4-up ward, 9 health, 2 control, pretty much the same. Scepter of the Wheel, 3 attacks, 4s on 4s, d3 damage. Acolyte's Club and Axe, 4 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1 damage. I don't know, there's not really much difference between the 2 profiles there, is there? She has a passive, Voice of the God King. Effect: this unit can use the Unbind ability as if it had Wizard 1. Okay. I think the new ability is probably better. And then her prayer is a hero phase, goes off on a 5. The Vessel of Sigmar. Declare, make a chanting roll of d6. Effect: pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. Pick up to 2 different effects instead if the chanting roll was a 10+. The Great Wheel turns. Add 2 inches to the move characteristic of friendly Cities of Sigmar human units if they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit at the start of the move. Hallowed Ground. Friendly Cities of Sigmar human units have ward 5 up while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. That's quite nice. And Cast Out Evil. Roll a d3 for each enemy wizard and priest on the battlefield. On a 2-up, inflict the amount of mortal damage shown on that unit equal to the roll. That's quite good as well. Keywords: unique, hero, priest 2, inventory and ward 4 up. Order Cities of Sigmar human. She's lost the human keyword. That's not actually a bad data scroll, is it? The attacks and things are naff, but her prayer, Vessel of Sigmar. The 2-inch move is situational, but I really like being able to put a 5-up ward. Like, you'd be castling up around her, but I really like that 5-up ward. And I quite like Cast Out Evil as well. It's not going to be huge damage, but it is a bit of damage. I suppose her new ability on the Ghyran War Scroll gives her something similar. So this variant, the standard variant of her, is 170 points. Ooh, that's a lot cheaper. So the question then becomes, is this new War Scroll 80 points better? She has the same move, the same saves. Weapon-wise, you are losing, well, you're losing 2 attacks, but honestly, you're not going to miss them. Word of the God King is nice, and that kind of counters 2 of her other abilities with the prayer and her passive on the standard. Her prayer, Sigmar's Will, goes off easier. The biggest thing that you're losing is the 5-up ward, or the ability to give units a 5-up ward that are within 12 inches of her. And I actually think for 80 points difference, to save 80 points and be able to do that, I don't know. Again, this isn't a model that I would ever run. I run models and units based on how much I like the look of them more than their rules sometimes. Like 90% of the time. Sometimes you take them for the rules. But I don't actually know. I think she's quite... 250 points for what she does here is probably... I'd say it's quite expensive. She has some really cool things, but then an 80-point difference for the same stats, basically the same melee attacks, and arguably abilities that do similar things in slightly different ways. I don't know. Let me know what you think below in the comments. Our second war scroll, Freeguild Cavaliers. Now these are quite a nice unit. 10-inch move, 3 up save, 3 health and 1 control. They're a unit of 5. Got melee weapons. The Cavalier weapon is charge plus 1 damage, 2 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage. And Warhorse, steel shod hooves, companion attacks, 2 attacks, hits on 5s, wounds on 3s, 1 damage. We have a charge ability, any charge phase, the red work. Declare if this unit is in combat, has not charged this turn, pick this unit and up to 1 friendly Freeguild Cavalier Marshal or Freeguild Marshal on Griffin within this unit's combat range to be the targets. Effect, roll a dice, add 1 to the roll if there are fewer models in this unit than the total number of enemy models in the units that are in combat with this unit. On a 4 up, realistically probably a 3 up, for the rest of the turn the targets count as having charged, so actually it's not that great. It's still good. It's better than, it's a 50-50 at worst. I don't know, I don't think it's that exciting. The Cavalry Champion Standard Bearer, 1 of 5, and Order Cities of Sigmar Human. I suppose it comes down to the points cost, doesn't it? So for the unit of 5, they're 160 points, regiment options Human Cavalry. Let's take a look at their standard war scroll. Freeguild Cavaliers from the faction pack, 10-inch move, 3 up save, 3 health, 1 control, that's the same. Melee weapons, Cavalier weapon, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1 rend, 1 damage, charge plus 1 damage. And the Warhorses, steel shod hooves, 2 attacks, 5s and 3s, 1 damage, companion. That's the same, isn't it? And their charge phase ability, any charge phase, devastating charge. Declare if this unit charged this phase, pick an enemy unit within 1 inches of it to be the target. Effect, roll a dice for each model in this unit that is in combat. For each 4 up, inflict 1 mortal damage on that target. I think that's just generally quite nice. Keywords, Cavalry Champion Standard Bearer, 1 of 5, so they're a unit size of 5 as well. Order, Cities of Sigmar and Human. And for that unit of 5 you're paying 150 points. So what do we think? For an extra 10 points, well, their attacks are different actually. So they lose 1 attack but they wound on they hit on 3s instead of 4s, so that's slightly better. For an extra 10 points, it all comes down to that ability for me, and you've got to roll a dice, so it's not guaranteed. You could twin it with a Cavalier Marshal or a Marshal on Griffin. Marshal on Griffin could be quite brutal. Like devastating charge, you charge into a unit, on a 4 up you inflict mortal damage. Those abilities I really like, because if an armoured horse hit you, you'd feel it somewhat. It's just quite a thematic rule. I can see what they're trying to do with the red work, but I just don't think it comes off. And actually, I think for a premium, alright, it's only 10 points, but for the extra 10 points, you're not getting a benefit. Not from how I would play. So I would always pick the Freeguild Cavaliers over the Ghyran one. I don't think that war scroll brings anything exciting or really that new to the unit. But let me know again what you think in the comments below. So for the first time, I think with these new faction updates, the war scrolls aren't great. Certainly for the tax that they've put on for points. Zenestra has you can argue, I think you could argue to take Zenestra, certainly try her out and see what she does. I don't think, unless I'm really missing something on the charge phase, I don't think the red work is better than devastating charge, personally. I quite like the heroic traits. I still don't understand how Cosmopolitan Leader works. Another thing that we keep seeing with these, we're almost a week in now, everything seems to be effect, roll a dice on a 2, 3, 4 up, whatever. So there's always that element of it just doesn't do anything. We're seeing quite a lot of that. There's a theme running through these updates, which I don't necessarily think is bad, but it would just be nice if this was pick 1 human, 1 Dwarden, 1 elf unit, and each of that unit, as long as they're within 12 inches, gets that extra in your hero phase. Just a nice little buffing. Mind you, that might be too strong. Add 1 to wound is pretty strong. Add 1 to charge rolls probably isn't, and +3 to it's only +3 to a control score. I don't know. I'm not sure Cosmopolitan Leader actually works. Quite like the other two. And I quite like Veteran Cannoneers. I think Fearless Exemplars is just a bit rubbish. Again, I think you could probably argue it. If you're building into war machines, you could argue it's worth doing. This certainly isn't as good as the puff piece they did in the article, is it? mean, I think there's some good stuff here, but it's not the best faction update that we've seen, let's put it that way. But let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.